Hey everybody, this is Darwin Reina, the Festival Director of Hospitalario Rea International Film Festival. Today we have a great filmmaker from Germany. He made a beautiful film that I really love it. His name is Philip. The film is a short-term memory, sister. That's the name of the film who is in our festival, and we are very happy to have you. How are you, Philip?
Good so far. Good so far. Thank you for the invitation.
It's great, man, to have you. So, I always start with the question of tell me where's the idea coming from, but I can clearly see where the idea coming from. So, what am I gonna ask you first to start with is why you have the drive to tell this to the world?
It's a good question. Because because the camera was like the instrument that finally brought my parents and all my family members to speak. Like I feel it's like in a lot of families there are issues and we all don't talk about it a lot, or there's something you better don't talk, or you don't want to start a fight. So nobody's talking face to face, and the camera gave everybody in my family the chance to talk what they actually think to the camera, and through the camera talk to the other members, but they don't actually have to meet to tell their or share their experiences. And I think that's why I started that film, because I felt we need to talk about it, and it's a
Right.
topic that also the world needs to know.
Yeah, that's cool. How difficult it was for you, Philip, to organize the pre-production of this documentary? How long was the preparation? Do you remember? Because it seems I sometimes I think, well, it's his family, so it might be easier, but I don't think so, right? How was that pre-production process?
Um, I think the most difficult part in pre-production was like convincing the family that they really participate. I mean, my parents, they're kind of used to me filming around since I'm 8 years old, so they kind of
Hmm.
okay, another thing of Philip, so we go for it. But it's more getting difficult. In this short version, we had to keep it short because it was only 20 minutes allowed, or for short versions.
Hmm.
But in general, we filmed with way more relatives, and especially like not that well related relatives to me. It's harder to convince them because you maybe haven't seen them for a few years, and now you just knock on their door and say, "Hi, do you want to share your experiences and just with the world?" And I just put a camera in front of you, so that's a bit more difficult.
Wow. Philip, the how long was that process then in pre-production? Do you remember how many months you spent there, figure out everything?
I mean, I had the idea last Christmas that I should make a film about it, or I don't know why, but suddenly this topic came up in myself again, because I just felt, okay, I
Hmm.
reached a point in my life, 24, I feel like, okay, I kind of know who I am as a person, but I still want to know more where I'm coming from which family, what kind of a family is that. I want to learn more about it. So I reached that point where I was like, hey, there's this part of my past that I want to know more, like my sister. It's like it's never been a topic. And then I started talking to people, introducing the idea, playing around with like friends, how can we film it that it's still compelling and stuff, because obviously you don't have action scenes a lot because she's not there anymore, there's a missing part, but how can we show that in the film? So that took us until March when we filmed, so mid-March, so 3 months.
Hmm. Do you write a script, or do you have a blueprint of what you want to do in production time, or it was everything like flowing? I'm gonna do this, or you prepare that script or something? Can you tell us?
um in general, I'm a huge fan of preparation. Maybe it's
Hmm.
because I'm German, I don't know. But, um, I love good preparation, but I'm not a big fan of scripting, like writing a lot of scripts before, because I like if a
Hmm.
film evolves why you do a film. So we
Right.
of course prepared, okay, we thought about what can we show additional to interviews. We thought about scenes, etc., that it's getting a bit more alive. And But in general, we also went with the flow. So if an idea, I always think it's important that you don't limit yourself, that you be open to new paths you see while making the film. And that's why I don't like too much script.
Yeah, I'm agree with you about that. Yeah, I mean, I have many questions because I want to do a documentary one day. You know, I'm not as good as you, Philip, but I'm on my way. All right.
Yeah,
So
you
yeah,
know, you should do it. There's a
yeah, I think
filmmaker in you.
it's fun. It's fun. I mean, it's fun and it's good place to touch and filmmaking. What about the production? So how do you organize the production of the shoot of interviewing your family? Basically that, let's say that, how do you organize that and how do you shoot it, like special dates, and then tell us a little bit about that process.
Yeah, sure. So the production we literally did like one day we spent one day with one person. We tried to do that so that we filmed an interview, that we filmed additional scenes. I know in this short film there's not a lot of additional scenes because the story is so big, so we had to stretch it together.
Mhm.
But we filmed a lot of additional scenes, and basically what we also tried to do is like we kept going doing interviews. So we did an interview with my mom, and the idea is, okay, we come back to her in like 1 week when we talk to other relatives again, because it's
Mm,
like I didn't
cool.
know. I was at that point at the beginning like the viewer. I didn't know anything about it. Literally, I knew I had a sister, but I didn't know much more. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was a search for myself. So we had my mom, and then I went to my grandparents, and they said something. I was like, oh wait, with this question, I want to go to my mom again. So that's kind of what we did. So it's like a search, a hunt to the truth. Let's say that.
How long was the production of the interviews you do with your family? How long was it?
In total,
Yeah.
again, it's like this is the short version again, but in total we filmed 4 weeks. So a
Wow.
really long time.
Yeah.
We didn't want to hustle through, even though we filmed a lot of stuff. We were always busy, but yeah, we took that time to, even though you get only 2, 3 super good answers in an additional interview, but these super good answers you want to have in the film. That's why you
Mm-hmm.
took the time to do it.
Another question here in production. Which one was the most difficult family member for interview that you think?
Um, I would say it was with my cousin,
Yeah.
because my cousin and my mom, that is out of the short film as well, but they had struggle. Like my cousin was like in my age, and he wrote my mom a letter
Mm-hmm.
after what happened. Basically, after they gave Vanessa away, they wrote a letter and complaining about it, or saying they're not right with what happened, and then they were not talking for a few years, and there was tension which is kindly resolved, but still it was difficult for me to know how I could approach it. He said yes to it, but I was not sure, okay, how much can I say? Is that all right still, because we're not that close, and it's a difficult topic if somebody is like fighting, or if you want to talk about a fight in the past.
Right. So you get the support from all your family all the way to make this film, yeah?
There were some relatives who first were like, we don't want to talk with you.
Mm.
We think it's not good to talk about it. But then I think that's really, that shows exactly what I said before, with the camera as a ventil for the people to talk.
Right.
And they suddenly realized that everybody is talking. And then they came back to me and were like, okay, we see everybody is talking. I think we should also talk, because probably it helps. So they realized that that is something that maybe helped other people.
Yeah, cool. Let's go to the post-production. I have a lot of questions for you
Yeah.
there, Philip. So I guess you end up with a lot of footage, right? How do you end up doing 20 minutes? That might be, you spend many
Yeah.
days, hours. Tell us, please.
It was really difficult. It was really difficult. Like I said, we're working on the longer version of it, because we have tons of footage. We have nearly 10 terabyte of footage, so
Wow.
that's a lot. um,
That's a lot.
um, yeah, and for the short, it was difficult. There was a lot of, so I made, first I made character trails. So I made like what development is each character walking through in the film, basically. And then
Mhm.
we had like the best grabs to certain stages of the film from each character, and then I put all of them together and saw, okay, this one is the best one to this stage. This is the best one to this stage, and then I cut the other ones out. So it was a lot of like cutting it down in several stages, so you have only the
Yeah.
essence in the final film, basically.
Wow, man, that's amazing. So who edited the film? You edited it yourself?
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
I know how to edit, but I had help of professional editors because I
Uh-huh.
think I'm too
Mm,
involved in the story. If you always need to have somebody who's looking from far behind on it and telling you, bro, I don't understand this, or this is not correct, try it again. So I had help because I think film is anyway a team job. So the more people you have and the more people are excited about it, the better gets the product, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah, I'm agree with you too. So you were editing, and then you have somebody else helping you as well, right?
Yeah, he was like a storyteller helper, basically. He looked on the
Mm-hmm.
film and we discussed, okay, how
Right,
could we build the storytelling? Yeah.
right. How do you decide when you so okay, my film is ready. It's
Hmm.
ready to be out. Do you decide it yourself? Well, it's a very personal story, or you get feedback from people. Do you show it your film before you put it
Yes,
out?
I do. I do.
Yeah.
I would never. I made those mistakes before in my life and in earlier stage where I just put a film out. You're so happy with it, but because I read a good quote like the other day where it was like, filmmaking, you have to learn to appreciate it, because a lot of the part of the filmmaking is like you're fighting through it. You enjoy, for example, the production, but then the
Mm-hmm.
editing starts, and you have like one day where you're like, the editing is brilliant, but you have 6 days where you think this is just annoying. Like, I want to be
Yeah.
done. I
Right.
want to see the final film. So it's a lot of like that, and then you're tempted to just kick it off as soon as it is done, but you need to
Mm-hmm.
temper yourself and just let other people watch it. And again, what I said before, because you're so involved in it, if viewers who have never heard the story maybe come and say like, I don't understand that part, and then you see like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, okay, I did not think of any person that would not understand it, but they actually don't understand it, so you have to change something.
Right. What about the music, Philip? How do you work with music? Do
um,
you have a, like an idea before, or when you're shooting, or the idea of music comes when you're in the post? How is your rhythm for music?
um, I was lucky to work on this project with Hempel and Firmont, who's
Mm-hmm.
there are two composers, two really talented composers I got to know, and they're also from the same region where I'm from, which is super funny. That's why we found a connection, and they said, "Oh yeah, we want to help you in this project," and they're really talented, and they helped me with this project. It was the first time for me to work with a composer, but it
Mm-hmm.
was a really enjoyable experience because we started before the actual production. We started talking about themes. What can be a theme in the film? And they put their ideas in. I put my ideas in, and then they saw footage, and then they saw a rough edit. And so the music evolves with the film, and I think that's quite an
Mm-hmm.
interesting process. And a lot of people said they really liked the music in the film.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it's good.
think that it really hits the spot in a lot of spaces.
Yeah, that's it. That's a great music. Hey, Philip, I mean, you've been doing some documentaries. I mean, you're very active filmmaking. What do you think is the most difficult part in filmmaking? Documentary, let's put in documentary.
Mhm.
Pre-production, production, or post-production for you, singular. What is the most difficult that you think is the most, where all your energy goes, and what do you
Uh,
think is the
For me, um, I would say a really tiring experience is production, but I enjoy it so much that for me it's not like I'm just in the flow. I just enjoy it. Even though I work 12 hours a day, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Uh, but I would say post-production is the difficult because
Yeah.
um, like you have that part that you filmed, and you have to make it a film now, and everything can still go wrong. Like you haven't won anything.
Yeah.
If you make if you tell a shitty story, like if you don't build the story correct, it's not going to be a good film, regardless how good the images are. So
Mhm.
it's difficult to keep your tension and motivation all the time up so that you deliver a good film.
Right. I'm agree with that too. I got two more questions, Philip, before I let you go, buddy.
Go ahead.
Uh, what did you learn from this short-term sister that you will do different in your next project? Was any teaching that you get from doing short-term sister that you will do differently?
I would definitely say taking more time in the storytelling process, that I really give myself the time to develop a story properly, to sit down, play with post-its, etc. And I said I enjoy the production phase, but we shoot it for 4 weeks without any free day. So I think it's good for the creativity to also have a free day at one point. My crew will thank me also. They were that's something I will definitely take into the next film.
Cool. And what I will tell you what I feel with your film soon, but what is the feeling you want the audience to get after they watch your film, Short-Term Sister? I mean, we all know each person is unique and each person perceive different. But for you, as I did this because I want them this feeling. What is the feeling you want the audience to have for your?
I want them to maybe think about their own families and their own relationships in their personal life, and just think, what is something that in my family never anybody spoke about? What is maybe an issue we could speak about, and that could be resolved by doing that. And if just somebody goes out with that thought of like, oh wow, they all thought so differently about each other, but they could have sit down and talk about it before and find a resolution before. If that just sticks around in the viewer's head a tiny bit, then I'm happy about that.
Yeah, that's what I felt with your film, for sure. How's your family feeling that they are so international in public figures now?
They're right, because I agreed with them, of course, with everybody who did the film. Part of the deal was that they could watch the film before it goes live. And but they were all happy with what I did, so I feel like of course it is a difficult topic, but they also agree, okay, maybe it needs publicity, that people talk about foster children, A, and B, about family issues, because both topics are taboo and we don't talk about it in society a lot, because it's connected to failure, it's connected to like hate and all those feelings that people are just try to like, that's the dark side we don't talk about. That's why they're all right with it. I think the next film I have to do is about something else, not about my family, but for this one they're right.
Really, now that you mentioned that you were mentioned this just right now, it was anybody in your family who, when they watch the documentary, they say, oh, maybe you should take that away? Or not really? Everybody was happy with the end result?
With the short version, everybody was happy. Like
nice.
nobody said something, because I think it was also for them an experience, because they listened to some opinions for the first time in their life, because they haven't heard them since I was young, basically. So it is like an experience for them as well to hear what other family members think.
Nice, Philip. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to see Vanessa. We're not gonna spoil the film, but I was with oh man, I'm gonna see her now. But cool, man. That was a good one you did there.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Philip. Are you coming to Barcelona? What do you think?
I mean, it's hard to say. I would love to come, but it depends on the rules, obviously.
I think we have a
I have friends in Barcelona. I would love to visit them. Barcelona.
Yeah, so we have and they can come and watch your film. Yeah, that sounds like a plan, right? Hey, Philip, thank you very much, buddy.
Thank you.
It's been fun. And,
de nada, amigo. De nada.
All right.
Okay.
All right, amigo. Buenos
días.
Bye.